Let's try the rum. Come on.
All right, let's do the rum.
Let's do it.
That's my brand, which was also launched this year. Yeah, Gregarious Grump.
Great name.
But basically, I'm a very gregarious person. I'm very personable. I love drinking with people. It's my favorite thing. So my sister-in-law, Katie, one time had basically just called me Gregarious Grump. And I just thought it was such a funny, like I'm a very lighthearted guy, but at times I can come across grumpy. So we just ran with it. And so on the front of the bottle is a picture of Whiskey Pete in a rocking chair. Yeah. And I have a whiskey festival here in Houston. It's the Houston Whiskey Social. We do a big event with like 400 brands and 2,000 people. And so we started bottling spirits for the event, and we started with single barrel cask strength unfiltered rum. And next we're going to Madeira and port. I want to go to Spain and buy some casks of Madeira and port, and then put whiskey in it. And then we're doing cognac and Armagnac. So we just have so much fun with single barrel cask strength stuff. So what you're drinking is single barrel unfiltered cask strength Foursquare, which isn't available anywhere in the state of Texas other than with this brand. And it's the bourbon drinkers rum. It's super high proof. It's column still. It's 12 years aged, or 11 years aged in the Caribbean, 1 year aged in the UK. And
wow. In the UK, wow.
Yeah. 1 year aged in the UK. And I'm a rum drinker. I wish I brought it with me. I didn't bring it with me. It's funny, I actually brought your boys the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society bottles with me, but I didn't bring another rum bottle. I wish I did.
I never really drank rum at all. I just didn't really know it, didn't have much access to it. And then I think one of the first ones was at Appleton, and then I went on to Diplomatico, and I mean, tremendous. But it's not. And again, I think it's like, as you say, like a whiskey. It's like you can sit and you can sip it. It can be. It's not something you have to use as a mixer or, the bad rums out there. But this smells like very much in the world that we've been at. It's good.
And for those of you peakers out there watching this, distilled spirits, rum, whiskey, bourbon, all distilled spirits are carb-free, fat-free, sodium-free, gluten-free. All of them are gluten-free. It's all zeros across the board. It's completely zero sugar. Even rum is zero sugar, unless you add it to it after the fact. So anything flavored is obviously been affected after the fact. But distillation is purification. And what Sam is drinking, the Sassenach, all of them are just all zeros across the board, keto-friendly.
It's interesting when there's a lot of other companies out there that they celebrate that they're gluten-free or vegan. And it's kind of interesting because they all are, right? I mean,
yeah. There's a company here in Texas called Tito's that sold for billions of dollars, and they pioneered the gluten-free thing. Now you might run into cross-contamination and depending on the facility that it's bottled at, but all of that is standard across the board. Gluten-free, fat-free, sugar-free, great for working out.
Wow. That is so good.
And that bottle just won an award, a label award. I didn't submit it to any spirits competitions because when we released it in Houston and it immediately sold. So there's nothing left at the warehouse. It's all out there.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. So
because this is going to win awards. That's amazing. And you know what? I keep looking at the bottle. There is like charcoal, carbon. Like there's so much of that. I don't even see that. There's so much at the bottom there.
Yeah, those are called tea leaves. That's barrel char. It's unfiltered.
It's incredible.
A little history on spirits. Most distilleries have been non-chill, or they've been chill filtration. They've been chill filtering out their whiskeys to remove dissolved solids, fats, lipids, the whole thing. Because if a bottle gets cold enough and it's low enough proof, it gets hazy in color and people think that something is wrong. If it's unfiltered, people see the floaties and they think that something is wrong. So nowadays, we've got a more educated consumer. We can have floaties, we can have char floating around, and people don't think there's anything wrong because there's not anything wrong. That is straight from the barrel, unfiltered, delicious Caribbean rum.
It is absolutely delicious, my friend. That is amazing. I feel like I've just been so lucky to have all of these amazing drinks, but this one is really special. So congratulations on that, and let me know when there's more coming, because that's amazing.
It's fun, man. I mean, tasting spirits and especially having my name on the bottle, it's, you know what that feels like.
Yeah,
it feels cool.
Yeah, right. There's when we're in Scotland, you could come and try some Scottish rum, because there's a couple of good ones.
I didn't know that Scots made rum.
Well, you yes, exactly, and I didn't either. And there is a couple of them being made right now, and there's actually a Blanco, like a white rum, which is so good, so good. So when we're in Scotland, we'll go taste them.
Who, I know the Botanist is off Islay. It's made at Brooklady, right? It's a gin. The
Botanist has to be one of my favorite Scottish gins. I mean, there are so many Scottish gins right now. It's kind of hard to keep track. And
but if you had to pick one as your favorite, who would you say is your favorite, and why is it Forget Me Not by Caitriona Balfe?
Caitriona has just released her own gin, and it's called Forget Me Not. And I have a bottle in Scotland, so I haven't tasted it yet. I'm excited to, and I think that will be my Christmas, but it's very kind of her. She sent me that while I was down here. But yeah, I think she works with this great company that I know who make great gins. But I think I haven't, until I taste it, it obviously will be my favorite. But my favorite gin for a while was Harris, and it was everyone's favorite because of the bottle. It's such a beautiful bottle. But actually, I'll always go back to the Botanist. It's something about it. It's great. But I think the island gins, for some reason, all of the gins coming from the islands are really good.
Yeah, I think I'm not familiar with the complete breakout of Botanist, but I believe they might do a lower distillation proof. And the lower you distill your gin, the more flavor it retains. So the Botanist is one of the most I'm a huge fan as well. Anything that comes out of Islay, I'm a huge fan. So I know we're running out of time, and we've got to get this turkey bottle open, and I'm a little bit worried about it. So,
well, let's do it. Here we go. So a bottle that has been sitting on a shelf waiting for this moment for 40 years. Oh God, is that how old I am?
19. I think it's 1975. Wait, what is it? 19? No, mine. The one I brought with me is 1975. Your birthday is 1980, correct?
It is.
Yeah. So that's a bottle from 1980. It's a 1 liter bottle. The fill level has dropped a little bit, so it's going to be a lot more thick. But essentially, what I love to do is I love to track down bottles from auction houses or various different sources, estate sales, that basically were bottled the year you were born. And I think it's fun to actually, now here's the trick. So that Wild Turkey's corks were notoriously bad. So break the seal very carefully, twist it until the tack strip breaks, and then, but just a little bit, and then twist it back the other way, and just slowly but surely work it out until it pops.
This poor guy has been sitting there. This turkey has been sitting there for 40 years. So
40 years.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. Oh, wow. That opened quite quickly.
Now careful. Yeah, it may have kind of opened, but maybe not open. So maybe just broke.
I feel like, yeah, it's still in there.
Just rock it back and forth until it breaks.
I think the cap has come off the... Oh, no. We're in.
You're doing little rocks? That's awesome. Do you know how hard that is? I have tried the bottles I've sent to people, I've tried to get them to understand how sensitive it is, and it almost always breaks. So I sent you a bag of backup corks. So definitely don't use that cork again. Replace it with the backup corks. But oh my God, I'm so excited.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Uncle Nearest Santa. Okay, here we go.
All right. So that is a bottle from 1980. Wild Turkey is regarded as one of the most well-respected and well-loved big brands. A lot of the big brands have kind of lost respect over the years.
Oh my God. So that's like cognac.
This is how beautiful bourbon is. Old bourbon.
That is like a cognac. That's.
Before you sip, sorry, I shouldn't have sipped either. I want to do this properly. So, your book, your show, your 2 shows, the show you just sold, Men in Kilts, your whiskey, Sassenach. I mean, everything you've accomplished. You've talked about it in your book that I think around 30, 31 years old, you were barely getting by. And now Sam, buddy, you made it. And so everything you've accomplished, that liquid has been sitting inside that bottle for the past 40 years. I couldn't be happier for you, buddy.
Mate.
Excited to see you, and cheers.
Cheers, my friend. This is the nicest thing. I think it's such a lovely idea, and thank you so much. I can't believe you did that. It's such a great evening. I feel
God, that's fantastic.
It smells like brandy or
old bourbon. I mean, the difference was old growth oak barrels. I mean, the trees used back then were much older. The distillation methods were different. They were using cypress fermenters. The whiskey back then, there's just something about old bourbon that's just brilliant.
I have never tasted anything like that.
That being said, I still prefer old Scotch. I love old bourbon, but old Scotch, that was my first love.
Wow. That's really weirdly. So I know, if something is sitting in the bottle and not in the barrel, it's not really gonna, I mean, it's like, it's distinguished. It's old and refined. It's beautiful.
There is something called old bottle effect. Over time, in that bottle, alcohol will evaporate off, and the bottle will get, as you see, the fill level was in the shoulder. It was there's been a lot of evaporation in a sealed bottle. So you've got kind of this old glue, old wood. There's like an actual dusty flavor to it that's really interesting. Old bourbon is just so... I mean, there's a reason why it's so popular and goes for so much. I hope people are enjoying us drinking the whole time.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I can't even talk. That is incredible. It has like top notes of bourbon. But you wouldn't know it's bourbon unless at first it's so, I can't even describe it. It's an incredible drink. That is amazing. I'm kind of overwhelmed by that, actually.
It reminds me of growing up, Elmer's glue. There's a smell of there's a note, and I know that sounds like a bad thing, but it's not. It's a good thing. There's a smell of old. You remember, you go to your grand's house and her bedroom smells of, there's like an antiqueness to it. There's old bottle effect is a real thing for old bourbon.
That would be it. Like a piece of pine furniture or some old cupboard or a sideboard that's sitting there, and you rub your hand along it, and there's just something about it. That's the sort of smell you get. That is. I wish you could taste this. Do you have the same bottle? No.
So the bottle I have here with me is from 1975. Wow. It's actually an Italian export, so it had to go to Italy first, and then it came back to the U.S., which is quite a long way for me to get my hands on it. But it's one of my favorite things. I have quite a few of these bottles. I'm a huge fan of 1980 Wild Turkey. And listen, I couldn't be happier for you, buddy. I think this year has been rough for many in many regards, but this year has been quite the year of growth, and my hat's off to you.
Dude, likewise. Thank you so much. I think you are equally doing extremely well, and it's always a pleasure. And yeah, love sharing what's going on in my life with you, and love hearing about what's happening with you. And dude, that rum is amazing. The Amrut, I've got them all lined up here, and actually, you did really well. They're varying degrees of sherry, and I shall just stay here.
Well, sweet, man. Listen, take the bottles, keep the bottles, enjoy the bottles. I know you've got some time. I saw on your Instagram last night, you did a walk around the city a little bit. There were some photos of some great buildings and stuff. So take the flask with you on a walk, enjoy the bottles, and listen, man, cheers. Cheers to you.
Always a pleasure. Cheers to you, my friend. Till next time.
Coucou les addicts, c'est Aurélie du site Outlander Addict et j'ai un message pour vous. Si cette vidéo vous a plu, n'hésitez pas à vous abonner à la chaîne, à mettre un like ou à partager cette vidéo sur vos réseaux en cliquant sur le bouton partager qui se trouve juste en dessous. Pour prolonger votre expérience, je vous encourage à visiter régulièrement mon site internet outlander-addict.com. Vous y retrouverez des traductions, des articles et plein d'infos et d'actualités sur Outlander. À très bientôt.